Hello, Social Heat community. This is Update, Part 5 about Nancy Guthrie. Like, subscribe, and go to video. For almost 2 full weeks, detectives had nothing solid. No named suspect. Just a masked figure caught on camera. A single glove carrying male DNA. And an 84-year-old woman missing from her Tucson home. The streets were whispering, tension was high, and the case felt stuck in limbo. Then, on February 13th, 2026, the silence cracked when one name finally hit the file: Luke Dolly. Authorities confirmed that Dolly, a 37-year-old man who lived about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home, was detained. Law enforcement moved fast, searching both his house and his vehicle for anything that could connect him to the case. That detail has been officially reported and clearly acknowledged by investigators. This wasn't rumor or street talk. It came straight from authorities. What still hasn't been confirmed, though, is whether Dolly has been formally charged in connection to Nancy's disappearance. As of the latest official updates, no public announcement has been made about charges, leaving people watching closely and waiting for the next move in this unfolding situation. He has not been formally accused in court of kidnapping Nancy Guthrie, and that's an important detail to keep clear. But his detention instantly shifted the tone of the case because distance matters in situations like this. Dolly lived just a short drive from Nancy's home, close enough to raise serious questions. Investigators had already recovered a pair of black gloves containing male DNA about 2 miles from her residence. That location stood out, and once people realized how near he lived to both the home and where the gloves were found, the case started to feel a lot more intense and focused. Authorities have not publicly confirmed that those gloves belong to Dolly. They also have not announced any verified DNA match. That missing detail remains one of the biggest unanswered questions hanging over this case right now, and it keeps people guessing. What has been confirmed is that surveillance footage shows a masked individual approaching Nancy's home. The person in the video appears to be an adult male of average build. That image, quiet, covered, and moving toward the house, has become one of the most talked about parts of this investigation so far. The glove recovered at the scene yielded male DNA. Dolly does have a prior criminal record that includes drug and firearm-related offenses. But let's keep this straight. Past charges do not automatically mean someone is involved in a new case like this. His attorney has publicly denied that he had any role in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. At the same time, Sheriff Chris Nanos has not publicly stated that Dolly has been cleared either. That difference matters more than people realize. Nancy Guthrie's family members were publicly cleared by law enforcement early in the investigation. Dolly has not been publicly cleared, but he also has not been publicly charged. That puts him in a serious gray zone, someone under investigation, but not formally accused in court. Authorities have confirmed that evidence collected from his home is still being processed, and that alone keeps the spotlight on him. What that evidence actually includes has not been shared with the public. No official statement has confirmed that any incriminating material was found, and there are still major questions hanging in the air. Has Dolly's DNA been compared to the DNA found on the glove? If it has, was a match confirmed or ruled out? Did the search of his vehicle uncover any forensic link to Nancy's home? Another big question. Does his physical description truly line up with the masked figure seen in the surveillance footage? Law enforcement has not publicly answered these points. The timing of his detention on February 13th also happened during a spike in reported ransom activity. Multiple ransom notes demanding $6 million in Bitcoin were reportedly sent to media outlets, adding even more pressure and mystery to an already tense investigation. Authorities have not confirmed whether those ransom messages are directly connected to Dolly or to any verified suspect. One of the ransom demands was officially identified as a hoax unrelated to the abduction, and the individual responsible was arrested. Beyond that, there has been no public confirmation linking Dolly to any ransom communication. Still, once news of his detention broke, online speculation took off at full speed. Some observers pointed out Tucson's proximity to the Mexican border and started floating theories about larger criminal networks. But law enforcement has not confirmed that this case is connected to organized drug trafficking or any cross-border activity. At this stage, the confirmed facts remain limited and very specific. Luke Dolly was detained. His home and vehicle were searched. Evidence collected is still being processed. He has not been publicly cleared, and he has not been publicly charged. Nancy Guthrie is still missing. In high-profile investigations, a detention can signal where authorities are focusing, but it does not equal guilt. What truly moves a case forward are forensic results, verified DNA comparisons, digital evidence, and timelines that line up under scrutiny. Right now, those key determinations have not been publicly released, which means the investigation remains active and unresolved. As investigators continued reviewing forensic findings and digital trails, another narrative began spreading online. The comparison to the 1988 kidnapping of Annie Laurie Herron. That case also involved an elderly woman, a well-known family, ransom demands, and a suspect who appeared to have financial motives on the surface. The parallels caught attention fast, even though officials have not confirmed any direct connection between the two cases. The similarities have caught a lot of attention. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. Her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, is a nationally recognized media figure. Reports say ransom notes demanding $6 million in Bitcoin were sent to media outlets referencing Nancy. But this is where responsible analysis really matters. Law enforcement has not publicly confirmed that the Annie Laurie Herron case is being used as any kind of formal template in this investigation. Investigators often review past kidnappings to study behavior patterns, but there has been no official statement declaring this case a direct parallel. Drawing comparisons can help people understand possible risk factors, but similarities alone are not proof. That line needs to stay clear. Now back to the confirmed timeline. Nancy Guthrie was last seen on January 31st, 2026, after family members dropped her off at her Tucson home. Her doorbell camera reportedly went offline around 1:47 a.m. on February 1st. She did not show up for church the next morning, which immediately raised concern. Authorities have publicly stated they believe she was taken involuntarily. Blood recovered inside the residence was confirmed to be Nancy's DNA. Surveillance footage captured a masked suspect approaching the home. A pair of black gloves containing male DNA was found about 2 miles away. And here are the critical unknowns that keep this case wide open. No confirmed DNA match has been publicly announced. No suspect has been formally charged. No proof of life has been released. No confirmed motive has been established. Luke Dolly remains part of the conversation because of his detention and his proximity to the scene. But as of now, the official record shows he has not been publicly cleared and has not been publicly charged, leaving the investigation in a tense and unresolved state. However, Dolly has not been publicly charged in connection with Nancy's disappearance. His attorney continues to deny any involvement. Law enforcement has confirmed that evidence taken from his home is still being processed. Sheriff Chris Nanos has publicly cleared Nancy's immediate family members. He has not publicly cleared Dolly, but he also has not declared him responsible. That fine line keeps people talking and watching every update closely. That distinction alone has pushed speculation into overdrive. The investigation has also briefly involved other individuals, including Kayla Noel Day and Carlos Pso, who were detained and later released. Authorities have not confirmed any charges tying them to Nancy's disappearance. Their names surfaced, then faded, but the case itself remains intense and unresolved. The ransom messages add another layer of confusion. At least one demand was officially confirmed as a hoax, leading to an unrelated arrest. Beyond that, law enforcement has not publicly verified that any ransom demand was legitimate or directly connected to a main suspect. Meanwhile, the FBI has raised the reward to $100,000 for information leading to Nancy's whereabouts, signaling how serious and urgent this search has become. Thousands of tips have already been reviewed. Search efforts are still ongoing, yet the core question refuses to go away. Where is Nancy Guthrie? This case now sits at the crossroads of digital evidence, forensic science, and intense public scrutiny. A masked suspect, DNA without a confirmed match, a detained neighbor not publicly cleared but not charged either. The mystery remains wide open. Ransom demands mixed with hoaxes, an 84-year-old woman still missing, headlines everywhere, but clarity nowhere in sight. Comparisons to past kidnappings might give context, but they do not decide guilt. Living nearby does not automatically make someone responsible. Being detained does not equal a conviction. And online theories, they are not proof. Not until law enforcement confirms a verified DNA match, announces a formal charge, or confirms Nancy has been found. Right now, this remains an active and unresolved investigation. Every detail matters, and every confirmed fact counts. If you're following this case, share your thoughts respectfully below. What piece of evidence do you think will finally crack this wide open? DNA results, digital tracking data, or something no one has seen coming yet? Subscribe for responsible, evidence-based updates as this develops. When verified information changes, it will be broken down carefully and clearly, without wild assumptions. Stay informed. Stay sharp, and most importantly, stay patient as the truth unfolds. This case is still unfolding, and every new detail matters. Right now, we have a detained neighbor who has not been publicly cleared, but also has not been charged. We have ransom messages, some confirmed as hoaxes, and others still surrounded by questions. We have forensic evidence being processed, digital trails under review, and an 84-year-old woman who is still missing. That is the reality of where things stand today. Investigators are working through thousands of tips. The FBI reward remains in place. Officials have made it clear that until verified DNA results, formal charges, or confirmed findings are announced, speculation will not replace proof. This investigation is active, serious, and far from over. If you want steady, fact-based updates without the noise, make sure you like and subscribe. We are tracking every confirmed detail, every official statement, and every development as it happens. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. We will continue breaking this down clearly and responsibly as new information comes in.